What was your best birthday experience? My mom and dad divorced very early in my life, well before I was 2 years old. After their divorce, my mom did the typical single mother thing and worked crazy long hours to make ends meet, zero financial support from her ex-husband, my dad. As a kid, while I was content, I was pretty lonely growing up. After several years of living like this, my mom met this single guy with 2 kids my age. Literally, we were all born the same year, fell in love and got married. They didn't do a fancy church wedding, they went down to the courthouse and got a marriage license, and then came straight home. We packed up the truck that afternoon and headed to the beach for a 3-day camping trip. The day they got married was my 6th birthday. I was just thrilled to have a dad and a brother and a sister. What blew me away that evening was a surprise birthday cake party and presents at the beach next to a campfire on the shores of Lake Superior. That birthday, those feelings, those smells, and images will probably be with me the rest of my life. That guy my mom married would later go on and adopt me. Best day ever. That's awesome. Congrats. I'm so happy for you. On my 6th birthday, my mom got this incredible Batman cake. Serious, multi-level cake for a birthday I would share with my whole Montessori class. At some point my mom heard a bump on the dining room table and shuffling feet. She discovered a huge chunk missing from the cake and the top part had been partially caved in, causing it to sag. She grabbed her disposable camera and bolted to the bonus room, where she found me building my Thomas the Tank Engine tabletop set. Confused, she explored the house until she found my 4-year-old brother, crying in his closet, scraping cake off his face and into his mouth. She took several pictures that I will keep forever. I'm not crying, you're crying. That's fucking sweet. While I was deployed to Iraq, I rekindled an old online thing with a woman I'd talked to for a bit 5 years before. She had a 9-year-old daughter at the time. We ended up getting together, and getting married before my next deployment. I'd already figured I was adopting the little girl, because the 3 of us all hit it off and it just seemed like the right thing to do, ya know? We had to get the sperm donor to sign legal papers waiving his rights in order to process an adoption. That chickenfugger totally signed the papers on her 11th birthday. Probably a coincidence, but it's ironic nonetheless. My father was dying of a brain tumor. He was ambulatory, but just barely. He asked me if I'd like to have a birthday lunch with him. We drove to a really lovely restaurant he had chosen and sat fairly close to the door because it was such a struggle for him. After we ordered, he began to cry, saying he wanted to do so much more for me. I told him I loved the place, it was next to a lake, great menu, but that was secondary. I told him that being with him was the best birthday gift I could ever hope for, and the best I ever had. We talked about all the wonderful things in life and I got him laughing about some of the crazy things he had done as a young boy. It was the best birthday ever. Nothing will ever compare. It was so good to see him happy. Edit. First, thank you for your kindness. More importantly, cancer treatments have advanced significantly since my father was diagnosed. He had a glio which affected both hemispheres of the brain. Most glios are located in one hemisphere. Huge difference in quality of life and lifespan. Mon, this one hit home. Thank you for sharing this, I hope you both had an amazing day that day. And I'm crying at work. I'm glad you got that moment with your dad. As someone whose dad is currently dying from a brain cancer, this hit a little close to home. I hope you're doing alright today. I'm not the closest with my dad, but it's still not easy, and it seems like you were very close to yours and I'm happy you had that smiley face. Damn ninjas cutting onions. My 6th birthday. My dad was a software engineer working in the UK at the time. His company acquired another company and sent him there under the guise of it being a temporary assignment, but they kept extending it much to his displeasure. My parents had just divorced and my mom was working long hours to keep up with bills, so the timing was bad and things were generally pretty rough. My birthday weekend fell in the middle of my dad's stint in the UK. Without telling his boss, he flew back to spend the weekend with me. We're from California, so it was a 10-hour flight. This also happened to be 4th of July weekend, so he took me, my sister, and my grandparents to the family cabin deep in wine country to celebrate. Friday, we had pizza and cake and I opened presents, the marquee gift being a gigantic super soaker that I'd be pining for months. Saturday, I got to run around, play catch with my dad, and shoot my sister with the super soaker. Sunday we went swimming in a nearby creek and later watched the fireworks our neighbors sent off. I just remember it being the pinnacle of carefree childhood fun. My dad risked his job and traveled thousands of miles to make it happen, which I'll never forget. This is the most beautiful one yet. This made me tear up, man. Hope all is well. Shoot my sister. I think I should start playing with the super soaker now. My 18th birthday. I thought everyone had forgotten, so I was trying to make plans with any of my friends. They all said, sorry, busy, maybe tomorrow. I was really frustrated. So I went to a friend's house, the only one available, and then my mom called me saying she was feeling sick and all. I was like, okay, that's it, this is the worst day of my life. My friend's mom drove me home to see what was happening to my mom. I got there, and there were all of my friends, my parents, my family, and a real-size electric guitar cake. Best night ever. Did your only friend who wasn't invited to the party get invited in the end? Something like this has never happened to me. In fact, I've spent many birthdays alone. I have a few friends, a husband, kids, but nobody has ever seemed to want to go all out for me. It makes me sad that I'm just not one of those humans that's impactful enough in people's lives that they want to celebrate me. I mean, I'm kind and love my kids and am nice to friends and family, but I'm not a character, I guess. I recently turned 40. My husband called a few of my friends, but they were all busy. The garage needed to be cleaned anyway, I guess. So that's what we did. Sorry for the pity party. On my 19th birthday, a friend of mine dropped everything and took me on a short road trip to see a friend who had moved 4 hours away. We met her about halfway, and had a very nice lunch that ended with a strawberry cheesecake, which is my favorite thing ever. Hope you enjoyed that strawberry cheesecake. This year was my 21st and it didn't show up on Facebook for some reason, so pretty much everyone forgot. Only the real ones remembered who wished me happy birthday in person and gave me a present, so it was actually kind of nice to only have my real close friends and family celebrate my birthday with me. My birthday falls pretty close after Christmas, and so gets missed in the hustle by a lot of people. But not my close friends and family, and I love that fact. I don't need someone I barely know wishing me happy birthday, but having friends take the time out of a busy season for my birthday means a lot. Mine was the opposite. People wanted to throw a crazy party for my 21st, but I just wanted to legally buy the best tequila I could, invite my best friends over with my roommates, and play Cario Mart while passing around 1/8 blunts. Edit, for those who don't know, Cario Mart is a drinking game. Everyone has a beer or mixed drink and has to finish it by the end of the race. Shots are fine too, but our rule is you pour it, pop the floor, say "Kampai," "Hentai," "Senpai," "Kawaii," and then shoot. We played on Wii. Also, if you haven't tried Rainbow Road on acid, you're missing out. So I've always had a deep manly affection for penguins. My local aquarium put in a penguin encounter thing you could pay for X dollars for like 45 minutes with the penguins, and the first day happened to be my birthday, so my mom paid for us to go. We show up and there are like 60 people there. No one is 100% sure how things are supposed to work, and the two teenage workers ask if we were there for the tour. We were like, heck no, we wanna play with the penguins, so it was just my mom and me with 3 penguins for 45 minutes. It was fun. Even when the keeper turned their back, I gave the penguin a hug. When would I have another opportunity? Penguins, as it turns out, do not enjoy hugs. Well, it turned out they messed everything up. The package you pay for was penguin encounter and backstage tour. Turns out they stuff like 60 people in there and you have to share your penguins, but because of error we got 'em all to ourselves, laughing face. The penguin hug is so wholesome. 18th birthday. Had a home basketball game and every time I went to get out of the shower like 3 people would throw soap at me. It was funny at first, but after like the 5th time it was kind of annoying. Finally, me and my friend were the last to leave the locker room. He offered me a ride home, and when we walked into my house it was just my parents in the kitchen. Then like 35 people jumped out and surprised me. It was amazing and I was actually very surprised. Afterwards, they told me they kept throwing soap at me so my girlfriend could finish getting everything ready. It was a blast. I like how the only thing they could think of was to hurtle things at you. Wow. Great set of friends and family, smiley face. I was participating in a study abroad program in Japan for my 22nd birthday, and all of the friends I had made that year got together and came out for a special surprise dinner, rented out the room of a restaurant, and we all got to hang out, drink, and dance together. Then the horde of us biked across town to go to a karaoke bar, and it was the best birthday ever. I was in Japan for my 23rd birthday on a study abroad. My mom sent me extra money for the weekend, and so I bought 2 good bottles of whiskey and a bunch of strong zero to share with my friends, and they covered both nights of clubbing. I remember losing a game of What Are the Odds and having to walk back all the way from the club with my pants around my ankles. I wasn't allowed to pull them up till the Fukutashin line train stopped at the Shibuya station XD. Had to walk all the way back through Shibuya and the station drunk at 5 a.m. I miss those 4 months and all the people I met. This past March I turned 60. This has been the best birthday so far because I was so grateful to actually have a birthday to celebrate. I had been battling stage 3 cancer for 1.5 years prior. My husband and I went to the Murrayville Wellness Resort in Tucson and it was a fabulously healing experience. That's awesome. Congratulations on kicking cancer's butt. My 25th. Spent the day alone, in another state, buried in a university's archives doing research. I was in grad school. But I treated myself to a manicure and got my nails done. When I came home a few days later, some friends took me out for wings and drinks, and when they took me back to my apt, a whole bunch of other friends and some family were inside for a surprise party. That was also the summer I met my future husband, smiley face. I live alone in a state I moved to after college for work and don't know anyone outside of work. Every year on my birthday I go out by myself and treat myself to as much good quality sushi as I can eat. I don't look at the price, I just order what I want until I'm full. It's a simple thing, but I look forward to it each year. Barney the dinosaur came to my school and gave me a hug. Tears of joy, man. Mother Goose was there too, but I didn't give a shit about her. Happy Cake Day. Mother Goose was there too, but I didn't give a shit about here. Words of wisdom. When I was a kid I had a tiny 9-inch television in my room that I had my Super Nintendo hooked up to. On my 12th birthday I was having a sleepover with a bunch of friends, so my dad let me hook up the SNES to our 32 inches TV downstairs. I walked in from school to find my dad playing Super Mario World on the TV and it was fucking glorious. Mario looked life-sized compared to before and the colors were amazing. I was blown away. I still vividly remember watching him play in the forest level with the angry caterpillars. Then later that night my friends and I stayed up all night eating pizza and having Street Fighter II tournaments. I can't imagine any birthday being able to match that now. That's sick. I'm a dad of a now teenager. He loves when I play games with him or just on my own and we can talk about it. Currently we are on a serious Pokémon binge. We drive all over the place and meet up with other people and battle. It's pretty fun, but for me it's the memories. It sounds like you have a great dad. Probably when one of my best friends surprised me with another one of my best friends coming in from out of state. I saw them coming, swore at the top of my lungs, ran outside, and tackled him in a hug. I'll let you know tomorrow, this one ain't over yet. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. 23rd birthday, I was on The Price is Right. I won a trip to Vegas. I took the money instead because the trip to Vegas was actually just like $1,000 in Travelocity dollars, which is nothing, especially in Vegas of all places. The check they sent me was for like $800. I bought a laptop with it. The whole crowd sung me happy birthday as I walked off stage. Decent time but not great. And it would have been way better if they weren't cheap as fuck. Also I didn't get to keep the thing I bid on to get on stage, which was this awesome slot machine that I would have kept forever, which was valued at like $500. Fuck you TPIR. I got married to my wife on my birthday, so that was definitely the best one for me. My 19th birthday was just a regular day and everyone who I knew just wished me a happy birthday on Facebook, but that day was clearly a normal day to me. No cakes, no face-to-face wishes, no parties, and that is the best birthday experience. My dad had a large garden in his backyard and I must have been about 7 or 8. I asked him if we could do a corn maze someday. He said maybe. I didn't really pay much attention to what he did in the garden usually, but come the next year, 90% of it was sprouting giant, tightly packed corn stalks. I'd mostly forgotten my wish by then, being a kid who was busy building lightsabers with PVC pipe those days. The day of my birthday and party, I came home from school to see a big-ass corn maze and my mom had turned our entire house into a haunted house. The school was small enough that everyone rode the same bus and everyone got off at my place, so we got to work. Best birthday ever. Looking back, that was right around the time my dad got a new job. Every birthday prior to that had been very small with minimal presents and decoration. Because of how much fun us kids had that day, though, every birthday after was small and undecorated as well lol. My 22nd. Had a super huge party at a friend's house and the band I was in made our first appearance while one of our other friends had his DJ set up for when we weren't playing. I'd say about well over 100 people came and went during the whole evening, and the dance floor was constantly packed. People were constantly shoving shots and joints in my face while we were playing. This sounds cliché but might as well tell it. It was my 17th birthday. No one really gives me gifts and all, which I don't mind. But every b-day, I would love to spend my money on all of my friends and I don't care if I get broke or what, as long as I see them happy, I am happy. But that day was different. It was just a normal day at school, no one really greeted me except for my friends. It was lunch when my friend playfully grabbed my bag and took it with him in the car. It took him a few minutes before he got out and I got really suspicious, so I immediately checked my bag after retrieving it from him. When I opened it, there was a small white box inside. I almost cried right then and there. He gave me a wooden music box, which is in the tune of Hedwig's theme. He saved 3 months of allowance to it. I didn't know what to say or what to do because I was too flattered by the fact that someone actually took the effort to save up and give me a gift on my b-day. I was so happy, but it doesn't end there. Later that day, all of my friends went home except for him. We were talking as usual when all of a sudden he started fidgeting, which he rarely does unless he's nervous or something's bothering him. And guess what, as I said, this is really cliché, he confessed to me. I don't want to dig in more details, but yay, he confessed, we both confessed. We aren't official, but we are dating for 5 months now. He helped me with my depression and my cutting. I'm clean for almost 2 months now because of him. I guess that would be the best birthday ever. My birthday is in that month where we always have final examinations, so since beginning I never really had a proper birthday party. It was mainly cutting a cake with mom and dad and then studying the whole night since I had exams the next day. My friends hardly ever wished me cause they were always so tensed about exams. I don't blame them. This year on my 17th birthday I had my chemistry practical exams and I wasn't expecting much on my birthday as usual. I prepared for my Viva the whole night, no one called, went to give my practical and came back home. As soon as I was going to take a nap, my friend calls and me says, "Come outside." I went outside my house and literally all of my friends were there with balloons and 3 cakes and presents. I cut the cake, then they all took me to this cafe that they all contributed and booked for my birthday party. We had delicious food, great conversation, and at last I gave a cheesy cliché speech on how thankful I am to have each one of them as my friend and I'll never forget this day. At the end it got kinda happy emotional, so we had a group hug. Thank you guys, thank you for making me feel special. My first date with my fiancé was on my birthday. It was pretty much love at first sight when we met. Also years later. My fiancé blindfolded me and drove me to the animal shelter. We found my beloved dog Ralph. Apparently there had been a dog house in the backyard for 2 weeks without me noticing, which he knew I wouldn't. 17th birthday party, went to see Rocky Horror for the first time with my 2 friends plus the girlfriend of one of those friends on the theater's anniversary showing. Before that we went to my favorite pizzeria, and watched part of the film adaptation of Tommy, not a great movie, but so insane you can't not have fun with it. It was quite possibly one of the greatest nights of my life. Sadly, I lost contact with one of those friends after she graduated, but the other friend and I still hang out occasionally. Wu-Tang Clan happened to be playing a show on my 30th birthday. So that ain't nothing to fug with.